Okay, without further ado, let me introduce to you here Lee RIchardson. He comes out to the shop all the time, does a lot of shooting. He's become a regular and is enjoying it a lot. And I wanted to invite him on the show because we've been doing a lot of things, and he's been doing a lot of things at the shop, shooting, competitions, seminars, and so forth. And we were just talking about it. I said, hey, come on, let's talk and give people your side, your opinion of how things are working. So, Lee, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Just get a little closer to that mic. You'll be good. All right. Lee, I invited you on the show because I remember the first time you came into the shop and you were shooting, and I come up to you gently and I say, do you mind if I give you just a couple tips and pointers?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So you were doing okay, but I just know when I see somebody who does okay, I know they're this close to being exceptional. Because it's just where do you got to hit the piece of machinery with the hammer? Just knowing where to hit with that hammer.
Exactly.
Okay, so we got you there. We showed you a few things, and now you're just like tearing it up. Let's talk about yesterday. Well, first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you work, and all that.
I work in Rockdale for climate control, AC, and heating. Been married 10 years. Got a 9-year-old special needs son, Jason. Love Rockdale. Love my job. Love my family.
Good old country boy, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, Lee, we had this competition yesterday that we have every second Friday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
The round robin competition.
Yes.
Tell me your experience of it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is pretty cool. Just tell me when you first started it, what you thought, what you get out of this, why is it so much fun, and why should people kind of do it?
Well, the first time I did it, super nervous. Dropping magazines. I mean, it was rough. But the reason I like it is, you get familiar with other guns that you're not used to shooting. You know your gun. You get up to the table, you got 5, 6 guns laid out. You don't know what you're going to come across. So, like you say, battlefield situation, you come across something that you don't know what it is. If you don't know how to operate it, you're still in a bind.
That's right. What good is it, right?
Yeah. It's fun. I mean,
well, let's talk about the aspects of what the competition entails. First of all, if you come to my range, ladies and gentlemen, I don't charge you $15 an hour and watch the clock and say, hey, you got 60 seconds before you owe me $15 more. I go, hey man, come on out, shoot, $10. Shoot for the night. You pay for your targets, you pay for your ammo if you want to buy some ammo, but heck, $10 for the night, have a great time, okay? So you're gonna pay $10 anyway if you're gonna see me. Correct. Why not, on the second Friday of the month, pay me $20 to compete, which allows you to compete, lets you shoot the rest of the night for free, and if you do it well enough, you get to win some big prize, knife, gun, tactical bag, whatever. So that's the first big thing.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a plus.
Now, you were just mentioning about how you're not familiar with another gun. Let's talk about, what do you do normally at a range? Tell me what's happening. Here you got a gun, you go to a range. What normally do you do?
You set up, whatever guns you have that you're used to shooting. You're shooting at a target, no pressure. It's fairly easy.
And what are you shooting at?
Paper.
And what's the biggest threat? A paper cut, right?
Yeah. It's not going to do anything back to you. It's definitely not shooting back at you for sure.
Okay, so you just said a mouthful there. No pressure. You're in a comfortable environment. Nobody's trying to aggress upon you. And you're shooting at a piece of paper that doesn't move.
Correct.
So now, put that training in a life or death scenario. How do you think that's going to work for you?
It's going to help, for sure.
You may be able to know how to use your gun, but
right.
It's not running towards you. You're not juiced up with your adrenaline. So don't you think what you're doing in the range, shooting at a piece of paper, may not be close to what a real life scenario would be?
Oh, no. I wouldn't think by any means. And even shooting at the range, you have no stress level on you.
Yeah.
You're out there having fun.
Okay, so now let's move to our pistol competition. The way it works, you got 5 or 6 people to a string, and there's targets in front of you. They're all the same targets. Each lane has the same target, and each target has numbered on it 1 through 6. So Lee, let's just say you're shooter number 3. When it's your turn to shoot, you come up to the booth, you pick up the gun that's in front of you, you load it. You got, let's say there's 6 targets, you got 60 seconds to engage all 6 targets, and you have to shoot at the number 3 all the time. You pick up the gun that's in front of you, you lock and load it, and you shoot at your designated target. You put the gun down, and you go to the next gun that you haven't seen before or haven't manipulated before.
Correct.
You do the same thing. You lock and load it. You shoot at target number 2, and you only shoot the number 3 on it. So what's happening is you're under time constraints, you're under accuracy constraints, and you're under, oh my gosh, I don't know this gun restraint.
Exactly.
So that enhances, I think, right? Just paying $20 to compete, if you get nothing out of it at all other than that was great training.
Right.
That was great training, right?
And you can't have too much practice, in my opinion. But yes, it's great training. Getting familiar with different guns is what I like about it. Because we have so many different people coming every time. You're shooting so many different variety of guns. And there's all I've ever shot is a Taurus 45 pistol before I started coming to you.
What do you think some of the tricks you've learned in the competitions? You know, we talked about, and I'm always up there talking about the information in the cracks on how to pick up your speed.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, top of your head, think of some things that you've learned that now you apply to your shooting that enhances the speed and the accuracy of your shooting? And I'm talking from gun to gun as well.
First thing is just trying to calm your nerves. Calming your nerves is a big part of it.
Well, let's stop on that for a second. In a live scenario, if your life is in danger, your nerves are going to be shattered, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So it would make sense if we can train like that and get our nerves to that level, the next time it happens is, hey, I've been here before, I can control myself. Mm-hmm. So the first time you competed, you were nervous.
Oh, I was very nervous.
Now,
I dropped the first magazine on the floor. Yeah.
Now, we're always nervous. You always got that anticipation how you're going to do it.
Right.
But you say to yourself, hey, I've been here before, mm-hmm. and all of a sudden that smoothens out the jitters.
It does.
Okay, now let's go to another point. What else you learn? I have this big thing about going from gun to gun.
Yeah.
Is there any little trick that you going from gun to gun because you don't know what the next gun's going to be?
Soon as I set down the gun I just emptied, I'm trying to look as I'm coming around the corner at what the next gun is. How it's laid. It's in the lock. What I need to do to get it into the fight.
Okay, let's clarify that. You're a right-handed shooter?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's say if it's a picture-perfect world and you're coming up to the next gun, the gun is on the right side with the grip facing to the right, so all you got to do is put your hand on it and the magazine is perfectly set up.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not that way, if the gun is backwards, upside down, magazine's on the other side, when you say you're turning the corner, you visualized, and what are you doing now?
Well, say if the gun was on the left and the mag was on the right, you don't want to make an extra motion as far as, picking the gun up with your left hand, switching it to your right hand, then picking the mag up. You're taking extra steps, which is taking extra time, which is, real life situation, that's 1 or 2 extra bullets coming at you.
That's it. You got it, buddy. Extra steps are not good.
That's right.
That's another one of the things we teach, the little information's in the crack. If you're a right-handed shooter, you should pick up that gun with your right hand, not your left hand, and
no
put it in
matter where it is.
Yeah. So if the gun's backwards or whatever, try to position your hands in a way so when you go to, as soon as you make contact with the gun, it's ready to go. Okay. The other thing that's very important are triggers. I bet you won't argue with me on that.
Not in the slightest.
So when you're turning the corner and you're not only looking at where the gun's positioned, you're also trying to figure out what type of action is on the gun, what type of trigger control is on the gun, right? Because we both know that 1911s have minimal trigger pull.
Correct.
And then double action guns have long trigger pulls.
Exactly.
So it's almost like on the first shot with a double action trigger, you got to say, okay, how long's the pull? When's it going to break? And that could potentially screw you up.
Oh, and it has many times.
So you get over that by practice, and putting yourself under stress like these competitions. All right, let's move on to something else, though. You took an advanced M4 class. First of all, you took an M4 class from us. Zoltan Varga, he's my instructor. Good guy. We'll be getting him on next week, I think, I hope. And we'll talk all about him. But we've got a great instructor for the M4 seminar that was, last month. You loved it, had a great time.
Yes.
And we got people who want to do the advanced class in the M4. Let's talk about that. Now, last Saturday, I'm losing track of time. It was last Saturday, right?
Yes, last Saturday.
We were going to do an all-day course, but we kind of got rained out because the location of the range gets underwater when it rains, and it was coming down hard enough where we couldn't do it. So we postponed it for tomorrow. But let's talk about what we've gone through already last week in the M4 class. Part of the advanced M4 class is using pistol and rifle, learning to transition from pistol to rifle, rifle to pistol. Mm-hmm. Why don't you give us some thoughts, opinions, review as to what you learned on that class?
the classroom part, you know, you start out in the classroom, which is a good thing. We go through all the actions of guns, you know, learning, you know, single action, double action, single action only.
Double action only.
Sorry, yeah, double action only. You know, from the class, the malfunction drills, you know, that's a great thing to know. You set up, you know, 6 guns on the table, set them up in 5 or 6 different malfunctions, and set them all up differently. You know, each time somebody does it, you know, they got to come through, clear all 6 guns, get it back in the fight. Before that class, you know, I would have had no idea how to clear any other weapon except for my own, and not even in all the malfunction modes would I have known how to clear mine until that class.
I also noticed too, there's a lot of good shooters, and they're good with their guns. And I'm going to probably reiterate what you're saying there, but when you're even when you're shooting your own gun and you have a malfunction, all of a sudden the brain has to think about all these different things, especially if you're doing 6 in a row.
Right.
And we're doing a speed drill. A lot of people fumble and spit up on themselves. That's why I get a lot of professional shooters come out that stumble on the round robin competition because they're not accustomed to it. They're accustomed to getting in an environment that they know what the next step is going to be. What I'm doing to you guys is I'm throwing stuff at you that's not expected, and you've got all the data in your brain, but now you've got to tap into it and put it down into actual physical application. And so you learned a lot about that. You guys got smoother and smoother and smoother.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it just takes practice. You can't practice too much. You know, I've noticed that firsthand. I see myself coming further and further every time I come up there and shoot with it.
Okay, so in that part of it, we're doing kind of like a round robin malfunction drill. What else did we do?
As far as out on the pistol range, some of the things I took out of it were, you know, the part where we were like house scenarios. You know, you had some things set up with dividers, you know, simulating like a hallway and a bad guy, you know, in your house down the hallway. Say you're in a different room, you know, peeking out the corner, you know.
Slicing the pie, right?
Exactly, slicing the pie. I found myself sticking my head way too far out.
Eating lots of pie.
Yeah, eating lots of pie. I would have eaten lots of bullets too. But you know, that helps tremendously. I had no idea how to shoot from around cover. You know, I mean, that was my first time to ever.
What about shooting around cover on an offhand?
That's
just
tricky.
Not right.
I mean, it's good to practice and learn, but it feels very uncomfortable at first. But I mean, it's something you need to know how to do.
That's right. You got to learn how to dance that gun in between your dominant hand and your non-dominant hand, and turning corners and not letting the beak of your hat show around the corner of your foot, and slicing that pie as small as you can.
And being quiet. You know, most people don't realize. You know, you drag your feet, you start hyperventilating. You know, I mean, even in those shooting drills, you know, you feel your heart rate rise, you know, I mean, it...
Now, you did that shooting drill in the first class, and my son's an actor, he was playing the crackhead, invading your house, and you're turning quarters with your M4 and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, the shoot house. That was fun, and it was definitely adrenaline pumping.
And it kind of makes you realize, you know, even though you're shooting these little plastic BBs, you don't want to get hit with a plastic BB.
Oh no, they still sting. Don't get it wrong. They still sting.
Because I'll tell you something. I've seen it too many times where you're not doing that. A person is training, but they're not shooting anything at each other except maybe a laser, and you do some silly stuff. You start saying, let me turn the corner. Well, if you think there's a pellet coming at you, and you're wearing protective clothing, people, you just feel the impact. And then you say, okay, I got hit. It doesn't hurt, but you know you got hit. But for some reason, you're just like, I don't want to turn that corner as quickly as I used to. Mm-hmm. So, all right, now, tomorrow, we're going to be doing the advanced part, the rifle part. We're going to be down the tactical range, and we're going to be doing some 100-yard runs on the shoot. We're going to be doing pistols, shooting some steel targets. We're probably doing some shooting out of vehicles. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow in the advanced class, so I'm pretty sure you're looking forward to that,
yes,
right?
Definitely.
Anything you can say to anybody listening who should be maybe taking a class from me?
Definitely take his classes. I mean, he's very informative. They're thorough. I've learned a lot from him. It's definitely a good class to take.
And I didn't pay him a dime to say that either, so that's cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look, I think we're winding down. Brett, how much time I got? About a minute?
5 seconds.
5 seconds. Keep your powder dry, and God bless. See you next week. Good job, man.
Sure. What's so bad?
Vice President Pence. Obamacare has failed the people of Kentucky. It's failed the people of America, and Obamacare must go. It is at Louisville pitching the GOP.